Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power of the Tribe. I have with me America's leading midlife dating and relationship coach. Dating is a challenge for everyone, regardless of age or circumstance. Jonathon is a successful entrepreneur and dating relationship coach, speaker, and author of Unlocking the Male Mind, Finding Love Online, and Why Men Pull Away, 3 Ways to Keep Him Close. Please welcome Jonathon Aslay to the show today. Jonathon, it's a great pleasure. Thank you for coming on today.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be a guest. I'm really excited.
Okay, good. So Jonathon, the show's all about inspirational leaders.
Yeah.
And their secret to living life to the fullest with connection and zest and having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So what's your secret to life, Jonathon?
My secret to life, I think I've let go of expectations.
Okay.
It's one of my secrets to life anyway. I'm more, well, that's one thing. That's letting go of the expectations of what life is supposed to be like, and just living life, being in the moment and present. I call myself, it's interesting because you're reading my bio and it reminds me that I need to update it because I feel as more today I'm a self-love advocate. I'm a real big advocate for helping people really tap into their own self-worth, self-reliance, self-respect, that place that they find inner peace. And for me, one of those things was letting go of expectations. Was how is life supposed to be and just navigating life as it is. So it's the difference between doing and being. And for me, I spent my entire life in the doing. Now I'm just experiencing life in the being, and it's a whole different way to navigate the world, especially from a professional perspective. And so I'm in an interesting space in my life. And you and I were talking before the show, and for those listening, I lost my 19-year-old son a year and a half ago. And any parent listening to this knows that our greatest fear is something happening to one of our children, or all of our children for that matter, if we have more than one. And I experienced that nightmare. And as I began to navigate the grief, I decided to choose to grieve with what I call love instead of pain and suffering. And during that process, I actually began birthing my second book, which I published 9 months after he passed away, called What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? And why I feel like that's an important piece of work is that most individuals' pain and suffering comes from a feeling of not being good enough, not being liked, not being worthy, and a lack of maybe inner fulfillment, partly because there's this expectation that we have to do to be able to be fulfilled. And so now I'm, as I said before, an advocate for self-love. Putting the oxygen mask on yourself first, and that oxygen mask of love. And that has given me so much fulfillment, and it's my driving force to go out and speak as much as I can to help individuals shift from a place of doing to more of being.
Well, I love the shift of from doing to being, and then being is then brings on that whole component of connectivity.
Yeah.
Which is another whole piece to inspirational leaders is connecting. And then I'm also hearing vulnerability from you. So that's really amazing. And again, that to get people to the consistent place of being is a real shift. So that's great work, Jonathon.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's a work in progress. So I'm still every day. It's sometimes, I don't want to use the word challenge, but it's certainly my invitation. And so, because there are days when I feel melancholy, there's days I feel sad, and it might be because of him, it might be something else going on in my life. it's also sitting with that experience and going, okay, that's okay too. And reminding myself that everything is happening for me and not to me, that I have created this experience. I'm the creator of my world. And at least the creator from the perspective of what I'm going to, how I'm going to experiencing it from the internal perspective, how I'm going to perceive my world. And so I choose to take a more empowered approach than what the vast majority of people do from a victim consciousness, from a, it's the world against, it's the world against me kind of thing. I think we are the creators of our reality. And so how we perceive that is up to ourselves.
Well, it's that shift of being responsible for everything that we will into our lives. And when you actually shift like that, there is that sense of freedom of those things that are holding us back. That's tremendous.
Well, there's an interesting thing also. You talked about freedom, and I was watching Ram Dass's movie, Becoming Nobody. And one thing I recognized that when the fear of death is what oftentimes keeps us in this cocoon of suffering. And so, and I don't mean the death of someone else, I mean our own mortality. So as I lean into that more now, especially because of what happened with my son, I'm letting go of that fear of death. And because of that, I feel a little more liberated in life. And while that's easier said than done, and believe me, if I'm on an airplane and there's turbulence, it's like, shit, and sometimes daily life can feel like turbulence. Shit. But what was fascinating is that, existential, perspective, if you will, of like, okay, what if there is this, life after death and this experience that our spirit continues to live on? Because that's how I'm approaching it with my son. I'm finding it more liberating because there is more to life, more than our mortal body to life. And that's kind of another shift to help me become more at peace with where I'm at in my life.
So let me ask you this. So with that whole piece, are you also talking about your legacy and enabling you to then, when leaving that, your mark on the world, does that work into that equation of being at peace?
It's interesting because I've been thinking about this recently, and I used to kind of adopt a philosophy along that way, and now I've let go of that.
Okay.
I have to leave a legacy. My legacy is, and why I'm sharing that with you is I let go of the need to operate from that place. The way I show up in the world is by virtue is going to create a legacy. I mean, I continually talk about what I'm most passionate about. I talk about love, self-love in particular. I'm incredibly passionate about that. And if you Googled my name, there would be 10, 20,000 hits on Google. I highly doubt that anyone from my high school graduating class has that many hits on Google as I do, because I just keep talking. I'm not doing it for the intent of a legacy. My legacy is happening by the virtue of just talking about what I'm most passionate about. Okay. So I go in it, like, in other words, I don't think about it from that perspective. It's going to happen. It's already happened. I have a legacy that like I said, anyone from my high school graduating class doesn't have. I mean, there's those rare kids that have become, famous or whatnot, but I've kind of become famous with no intent of that happening. And when I say famous, I meant a legacy of all the work I've done. It's there because I just keep doing what I love.
To keep being.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let me ask you this. So obviously, as an inspirational leader, oftentimes a great leader has accepted coaching and mentoring. Has there been mentors in your life? And if so, what does that look like?
It's interesting. I've navigated some coaches in my life, but I've also surrounded myself with an amazing tribe of people. In fact, it's kind of ironic. I have a couple group of friends. We talk sometimes several times a day. And over the course of the years, I mean, we just talk, we check in, we're sharing, but within my circle, it's more introspective, it's deep, it's like, it's like we talk about what you're feeling and not what you did. And and I say this laughingly, I didn't realize how much therapy it has been. And what I mean by is a healing from the inside out, because I surround myself with just wonderful human beings that we don't talk at the surface level here. We're talking this level right here, the heart. Every conversation is what's going on with our heart, what's going on with our emotional component of our lives. And that's what's brought a lot of enrichment to my life. So I feel like I'm surrounded by coaches, but not in the I hired them kind of sense. More in that I just put good people around me. I put a good tribe.
Well, you kind of going on a point there. Then I happen to agree with you that having an amazing tribe is so important to support fun and growth.
Yeah.
So with that
They just happen to all be coaches, by the way, too.
Oh. So when it comes to your inspirational leadership and this new self-love, tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about the new book. I love the shift.
You're right there.
Oh, I love the cover. Oh, how fabulous.
Doesn't get more bigger than that. Self-love.
I love it.
So what prompted me to this was because I recognized as a dating and relationship coach, and I specialize in midlife, but nowadays I'm getting 30-year-olds asking for my advice, which I love, because if I can head them off at the pass, they don't have to be 50 dealing with this. What I recognized right around the time my son passed away, I really had this awareness that dating triggers the number one emotional health issue facing most Americans, if not the world. And that is, I'm not good enough, I'm not likable. It triggers all of our childhood wounds through the dating process, because there can be a moment where you like someone and they don't like you, or you like someone, or they like you, you don't like them. All this stuff starts to surface. Relationships actually trigger all of our stuff. And as I really leaned into why I was able to navigate the loss of my son with relative grace, and I say the word ease only because I know there can be a tremendous amount of suffering for some people and they never recover. And not to suggest that I haven't had pain, I just haven't experienced it from that perspective. I recognized that it was all the personal development work I did, all the self-help work I did, all the spiritual work I did for the 10 or 15 years prior that prepared me almost like a vaccination to chaos. Okay. And so I am a huge proponent of doing that deep dive for everyone to actually not invest in personal development and self-help and spiritual work as a way to make money in your life, as a way to heal that part within inside of ourselves. And the byproduct is going to be money and all those other things in life. So that's what I'm a big proponent of.
I agree with you. Again, I've been fortunate enough to have found an amazing transformation leadership program that I'm just about to graduate. And it's yes, thank you. And it is work. It's very deep dive. But what you come out with is just the most valuable thing there is, in that your full life shifts. And again, it is a very big piece of being vulnerable and being and connecting. And what a gift. Again. Yeah,
the investment in oneself actually pays it forward in so many different ways. When we actually, or at least I can only speak for myself, That's why a lot of times when I share, I'm sharing from my experience, because I'm not here to say, how to tell someone what to do. I'm just sharing how I've experienced this journey. I recognize that most of the population has been hypnotized. They've been hypnotized by these little things in their lives. They're hypnotized by the laptop screen or the television screen, and hypnotized in such a way to avoid their feelings. And interestingly enough, the Star Wars movie is coming out this week. And in the original Star Wars movie that came out, there's a famous line where Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Luke Skywalker, if you want to feel the Force, Luke, feel your feelings. Feel the Force. You have to feel it. You can't think through the Force. And so what sadly most people do is they intellectualize their feelings instead of actually feeling through their feelings in a healthy way. And the ego is really tricky. It can trip you up in so many different ways. And so I'm here to spread a message of how do we shift from a place of love? How can we operate from love? In fact, I have a little sticker that always says, what would love do? I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
What would love do?
Mm-hmm.
What would love do? That's my question I ask when I'm feeling unease in life, when I'm feeling an issue, when I'm feeling maybe even a disconnect from another human being or myself. My first question, I go, what would love do? What would love do? My t-shirt, I'm here to talk about what John Lennon said best. All we need is love. And as corny as that sounds, it's actually the antidote for everything in life.
Well, also the let it be.
In my opinion, anyway.
Right? With the also brilliant being let it be.
Yeah, exactly. The Beatles had it right. Boy, do I need some psychedelics right now.
I love the t-shirt. Love the t-shirt. I want one.
Go on Amazon, $19.95.
Okay, good. I'm getting one then. So, okay, Jonathon. So we're at a point that we're not only having a new year.
Yeah.
We're in a new decade. What's in store for 2020 for you?
It's interesting. A lot of people ask me that. What are your plans? What are your goals? What are this? I don't operate from a place of plans. I let go of goals. I let go of plans. I operate daily wherever the winds take me. That's where I go.
Okay.
I certainly have aspirations and dreams, but I let go of the egoic need for that. For me, anyway. For many people, that's not how they operate. This is how I'm operating. How do I live life from a different vantage point? By just being, and being guided every single day without a plan. And for many people, that's an impossible task. They need plans, they need structure. I'm choosing to go about this journey a little bit different way. And what it's done is freed me up. So if I don't accomplish something, so what? No big deal. If I didn't get something done, I don't beat myself up for it. I just keep plugging away on talking about what I'm most passionate about. And everything else is going to fall into place. So 2020, I didn't even think about it as a new decade. I didn't even think about it other than, what's going to happen new year. I'm hoping, what I appreciate most about the new year is it's going to be sunlight longer. That's about the thing I appreciate most.
Well, I love that you're freeing, and then what you're coming back to is being, and then just being in the state of self-love and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Listen, thank you for being here. Thank you for standing in the drift. Thank you for being an inspirational leader, and thank you for spreading the love.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored to be a guest on your show. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so listen, I'm taking my women on a year-long journey. We come back and visit in the house and come say hi.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I mean, if you want, I'll even come, face to face.
All right, good. I would love that.
If there's a group thing, count me in. I'll be there.
Okay, good. Happy holidays.
Likewise.
And thank you.
Thank you. Honored.
Take care.
Thanks.